With the release of Nnamdi Kanu hate posters in Abuja the other day, and also with the new evidence on the murder of Ahmed Gulak that was released in court also in the last sitting, it is obvious that this case is taking another twist because it looks like there are people that want Nnamdi Kanu jailed by all means. In this video, we'll be looking at the 7 people who may likely want to see Nnamdi Kanu jailed and their reason why. Please watch this video to the end because number 4 will shock you. Let's go straight in. Number 1, Muhammadu Buhari. For sure, of course, it's very obvious to all of you who are listening now, because when Buhari took over presidency of Nigeria, Nnamdi Kanu was just coming up that time. He just started Radio Biafra, and that was the moment when he was at his peak. And you know very well that the IPOB also was very active in that moment, and they held lots of protests demanding their freedom of Biafra, independent state. And those moments were very, hurtful for Buhari because it really dragged his, regime. The IPOB really did a lot of damage to Buhari's regime because they held lots of protests around Nigeria, both Rivers State and Anambra State, leading to actually the arrests and prosecution, incarceration, and actually deaths of many, IPOB members. So it was like a cat and rat game between Nnamdi Kanu here and Buhari there. There was no love lost between the two. I am telling you, the whole first tenure of Buhari was all protest, was all IPOB, was all free Biafra, was all referendum, and Buhari did not find this funny at all. And also remember that when at a time, Nnamdi Kanu also saying that Muhammadu Buhari was actually dead, and who is in Aso Rock is no other person but Jibril of Sudan. And you recall that he actually had Nnamdi Kanu arrested. Yes, he was arrested, though later released, but later, his house was invaded and he escaped. But Buhari did not stop there. Buhari swore that he was going to hold Nnamdi Kanu, accountable for his actions. Buhari at a point made Nnamdi Kanu a personal problem. It became a personal problem for him and a top priority to, have this man back to the country and made him to face the wrath of the law. And that was why Buhari actually did everything possible, pulled all the strings to rendition him back from Kenya. And since then, it has been one way through trying to see this man face justice. And that was why Nnamdi Kanu was brought back to the country, bundled back to the country, and thrown in the DSS dungeon. And even any opportunity that the court had given Nnamdi Kanu, victory or struck off his case, they still held on to him. That is number 1. So Muhammadu Buhari, number 1. Number 2, and just wait till you hear number 2. Number 2 is no other person than the FCT minister, Wike himself. Yes, for those of you who remember, when Wike was the governor of Rivers State, you remember that the IPOB had held a protest, and Wike had to crack down on that protest, leading to a back and forth between him and Nnamdi Kanu on his broadcast. That act of Wike, hurt Nnamdi Kanu so much because it looked like Wike was actually attacking his people. And Nnamdi Kanu actually put a bounty on Wike's head for his capture. Wike, as you all know, is a man that has a very strong ego and doesn't take lightly to such threats. So Wike held onto his own, self and held onto what he believed in and still cracked down on most of the IPOB members, living in Obigbo and other parts of River State, of which some people, even said that it wasn't about IPOB alone. It was about maybe the larger ethnic group itself. And that did not go down well with Nnamdi Kanu. And till today, that puts 2 of them at loggerheads, cats and rats. And fast forward till now, Wike is the minister of the FCT. So you can remind me where those posters, those hate posters, were found. Your guess is as good as mine. So Wike definitely is one man that allegedly definitely will not mind seeing Nnamdi Kanu rot in jail. That's number 2. Let's see who is in number 3. Number 3 is no other person than Hope Uzodimma. This one is very simple. It's very clear, very open. Everybody knows that the first name that comes out of Nnamdi Kanu's mouth during his broadcast is Hope Uzodinma. Sometimes he even adds a little phrase, Hope Uzodinjo, just to show you the kind of, enmity and hatred that he has for the man, for the governor himself. Personally, I don't know the reason why, Hope Uzodinma, always the first name on his mouth during his broadcast is Hope Uzodinma. And definitely speaking, he has picked a battle with Hope. And for a long time, they have been at loggerheads. I don't know what Hope did. I personally don't know how Hope's name came into the fray, but maybe you can remind me in the comment section. But what I'm here to say is that he made Hope Uzodinma his personal, enemy. And I'm sure Hope Uzodinma definitely will repay the favor, because right now, I don't see anything wrong if Hope Uzodinma decides also to, seek for his, his incarceration by any means possible, making Hope Uzodinma one of the 7 people who want Nnamdi Kanu jailed, except and proven otherwise. That is number 3. Now, you can imagine who is in number 4. You can imagine who is in number 4. In number 4 is Miyetti Allah cattle breeders. Definitely, this one is a very strong one, which you all know, because Nnamdi Kanu set up the ESN, and the job of the ESN is to protect the farmers in the bush. And definitely, that there's always been clashes between the farmers and the herders, and the herders are a part of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association. And definitely, these ESN members have had lots of clashes with the herdsmen because they are protecting the farmers. So by so doing, definitely they will have clashes with the herdsmen. And it has led to a lot of loss in the side of the herders also, leading to a deep hatred between the Miyetti Allah and Nnamdi Kanu himself. So definitely, it is obvious that the Miyetti Allah will not want Nnamdi Kanu to come out of this incarceration. In fact, they want him deep in the dungeons of prison so that he does not come out to give his men, maybe his men will have that command and control again over their activities in the bush. Because as you know, these headsmen, they all have a field day. They all have a field day in the bushes where nobody seems to have control over them. And definitely, ESN under Nnamdi Kanu, had a way of checkmating some of these activities. So definitely, the Miyetti Allah group are some people that definitely would not want to see Nnamdi Kanu out of prison. In fact, they want to see him deep in the dungeons of prison. That is number 4. Number 5. Guess who's on number 5? Your guess is as good as mine. Ohaneze Ndi Igbo. Definitely, you know. Nnamdi Kanu also has a phrase for them. You say, Ohaneze Ndi Ori, Ohaneze Ndi Nka, Ohaneze Ndi Nka. Lots of names that these people have been called. And you know that there is no love lost between them. He just doesn't like them for any reason. And definitely the enmity has, been on for long because he has blamed the Ohaneze of not doing enough to protect the Igbos in Nigeria, of protecting the indigenous people that the body was actually formed for. He actually accused them of always engaging in national politics of interest, of power, and of their personal, pockets. And for that reason, the Ohaneze itself, as a body, also repay, the hatred that Kanu also, has shown to them by also going against anything that Nnamdi Kanu stands for. Of recently, you can see that the Biafra Day, which holds on every end of May of every year, has been renamed to the Igbo Day because that Biafra Day was coined actually by Nnamdi Kanu. So the Ohaneze now has changed the name to Igbo Day. That shows you that there is no love lost between them. In fact, that changing that name has gotten, on the nerves of lots of, Igbo groups around the country and beyond, including the IPOB and other groups who have come to say that the changing of the name of Biafra Day to Igbo Day is an insult to even the wider groups that fought for Biafra, who include the Ijos, the Ishekiris, the Igalas, and the Bibios, and a lot of other groups that fought for that war. So are you calling all of them Igbo also? That definitely the Biafra had a way of, being stretched further than limiting it to only Igbo. So Ohanes and Igbo are a people that definitely will not want to see Nnamdi Kanu out of the dungeons in his own. In fact, they are one of those people that will likely want to see Nnamdi Kanu jailed, allegedly. Jailed, if possible. That is number 5. Number 6, and your guess is as good as mine. Number 6 is the military. You know the military, they've been stretched around the country, keeping the peace, fighting Boko Haram, fighting ISWAP, fighting Lukarawa, fighting this and that, fighting, they're everywhere fighting everybody for the peace and sanctity of the country. And they're even in the southeast, going after unknown gunmen, a lot of other groups that are here too. And they will not want, Kanu out because definitely they have lost some of their men. And, there are a lot of groups they fight. So definitely getting rid of one particular group will not be that bad for them. Because, the lesser they have to fight, the better for them. As already, Simon Ekpa has been, restrained in Finland. And Nnamdi Kanu is being restrained in Nigeria. Definitely, they will also want to maintain the status quo because they seem to be having the upper hand in this fight of insurgency, mostly in the country. So they will not want to see him out because definitely they claim that lots of their men have lost their lives due to the activities of this of the fundamentalists, and it is not going to be productive enough to see the leaders of these groups be released. So the military will see it as a victory if Nnamdi Kanu is actually sent to prison. So the military is on number 6. Now guess who is on number 7. Guess. On number 7, last but not the least, is the Southeast governors. Definitely, they can never be two masters in the same ship. Nnamdi Kanu's voice, presence, and everything, except you want to tell lies, Nnamdi Kanu's voice is a very strong voice. Mostly in the Southeast, people listen to him a lot. And I'm telling you, if you are a governor, you will not want somebody who gives order and your people obey. You would like it to be your own order. So definitely, the Southeast governors, as always, have not shown, enough for the people to believe that they actually want this man actually out of this place. So definitely, silence, as they say, means consent. If they have not done enough to make sure that this man comes out of this dungeon, it's also possible that they do not actually want him out. And if possible, he goes to prison, they will not mind. So definitely making them in the list, though on the last log of the list, but they are still in the list because I tell you that they will not want Nnamdi Kanu out because Nnamdi Kanu, somehow people see him as a very contradicting person, conflicting person, because he has been released before and definitely he still held meetings in his country home and leading to the army, he still held broadcasts there, leading to the army coming to, find him there, leading to the army coming to his place to carry out that kind of activity they did. So bringing him out now, will it stop him from also doing, the same thing, particularly, some of them may be destroying the structure of their states. So these are things that the governors will look at and say, no, we don't want this man back. In fact, keep him there where he is. Keep him for now, just keep him there. So there are lots of things that keep Nnamdi Kanu where he is today. Going by all the things that are happening right now in this case, looking at the posters that were released and the evidences that are being brought out every day, it looks as if there are people who are trying to pad this case as much as possible with enough evidence, with enough sentiment, with enough sympathy from every corner that will sway both public sentiment and physical evidence, in the favor of the prosecution and against Nnamdi Kanu because of interest. And definitely speaking, these names that are called here, definitely one way or the other, except and proven otherwise, and except they have actually forgiven him. Except, definitely, I don't see any one of them here who wishes Nnamdi Kanu out of this prison. In fact, it's very possible, it's highly possible that they, one or all, are involved. in seeing that this man, goes to jail. And chief of which, number 4, number 1. Chief of which, number 4. That is my take. So tell me in the comment section, tell me which one or more of the people listed here are responsible for his travels or may want to see him rot in jail. Maybe if there's anyone I did not write here, you can also drop it in the comment section and tell me what you think. Because definitely speaking, there is more to this case than the eyes can see. I've been your host, Chinedu. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification button. Thank you very much for watching this video. Till I see you in the next video. Peace.